what are the pros and cons of getting into more senior positions, and what are the responsibilities that you have now that you didn't have a few years ago?
Yeah, in terms of work-life balance, I think it's quite hard at the start because for a lot of people, they leave university, it might be their first professional job. They might be in a new city, new demands. It can be quite hard to get that right. At the start, I think you're really kind of at the mercy of your managers or whoever's above you. You're kind of working their hours. And then as you kind of progress, you gain more trust, you build a reputation, and you can be a lot more flexible in terms of the hours you want to work. So for example, for me, at the start, I had to work my manager's hours. And my manager was a bit of a, he liked working. He started slightly later and worked in the evening. Whereas for me, I actually prefer to wake up early and kind of clock off earlier, So at the start, I had to work my manager's hours. But once you build that trust and reputation, you can kind of be a bit more flexible. And what was the second part of your question again? Sorry.
So how did that change as you got into more senior positions?
Yeah, so essentially because you have more trust, obviously, and as you move into more senior positions, especially as a senior associate or junior manager or even a manager, you have a lot more say about how the work-life balance and how the team's going to work. So for example, on my teams, I'm very flexible with allowing people to work whatever best suits them. A lot of people prefer working evenings, and that's fine if they want to do that, as long as the work gets done. It's fine. So yeah, you have a hell of a lot more say over your own schedule to a certain extent, and the schedule of those below you when you progress throughout.
Okay. And what are the responsibilities that you have now that you are a senior associate that you didn't have when you just got started?
Yeah. So when you just started, because you're obviously brand new, you're not really expected to know much, to be honest. Okay. Your focus is really on your day role, giving whatever tasks, performing whatever tasks have been given to you, whether that's admin or anything else, you kind of just do it. As a senior associate, so as you start progressing up to your manager role, your role becomes, you start looking at more technical aspects of the accounting. So for example, the really basic stuff an associate would do would be kind of checking bank statements or checking amounts to an invoice. It's just matching numbers. It's very easy. It says 10 here, it says 10 there, tick. But as you're qualified and you progress, you start doing more judgmental and more technical stuff. So when I say judgmental, you might be looking at, for example, long-term forecasts of the company. There's no right answer in terms of, you don't know where the company's going to be in 10 years, but you've got to use all of your kind of technical knowledge and analytics to kind of check that management's assumptions are correct. So you do a lot more judgmental work, a lot more technical work, and you do a lot more on the people side. So as a senior associate, you'll typically be coaching maybe, well, depending on the size of the team, 2 or 3 associates. Okay. So you've got to spend, I'd say half your time is doing technical accounting, and the other half is actually kind of coaching associates. Teaching them how to do their work, what they should be looking for. And then actually once they've done their work, every single piece of work has to be reviewed at least twice. So as a senior associate, you're normally kind of the first reviewer before it goes up to a manager or partner to sign off. So it becomes a lot more people focused as you go up. And there's a lot of managing internal relationships as well. Because you, for example, giving updates to the partner or director, they want to make sure the project's progressing, keeping on top of budgets and being a bit more involved in the kind of commercials and stuff like that as you progress.
Okay. So it's more technical stuff to do, and you have to understand how to deal with all the people that surround you. Yeah,
and it's a really tough balance.
Okay.
Because obviously the stuff you're working on is really technical and really judgmental, and it requires a lot of hours. But at the same time, you have 2 or 3 associates that kind of constantly asking you questions, constantly there for your help. And you've kind of got to balance the two. You've got to make sure your work's getting done, but you're not ignoring your associates. So it's a tough one to get right.